You ever notice how some people make insane amounts of money, but they're still broke? Like you look at their lives, luxury apartments, several high-end cars, dinners that cost more than your rent, and you think that they've made it. But behind that, they're stressed out, overworked, and one missed paycheck away from panic. And the craziest part, they can't stop. They can't quit, they can't slow down, and they can't even breathe. Because the same money that they thought would give them comfort also took away their freedom. It's called the golden handcuffs. They shine bright, but they lock tighter the longer you wear them. Post graduation, I'm going to be working in investment banking, and the concept of golden handcuffs is especially true. Where 22-year-olds, fresh out of college, are making more than doctors and engineers, but still feel chained to their desks, terrified of losing it all. Just to give you some context, this is what investment bankers make today. Now, before you leave the video thinking that this is some humble brag by a random college kid on the internet, hold on. I get it. Everyone dreams of getting that kind of job. The prestige, the paychecks. But the truth is, for a lot of people, that's exactly where freedom ends. And here's the thing, it's not just rich people. It's anyone who's fallen into the trap of building a lifestyle that they cannot step away from. Maybe you're not trapped by a luxury car payment, but maybe it's a city you move to because that's where opportunity is, or the private school tuition you pay for your children because it gave the best chances for the Ivy League, or the job you can't leave because people would kill for this. We all wear some version of those handcuffs, those choices that once symbolized freedom but now quietly hold us in place. In this video, I'm breaking down how it happens, why people making six figures still live paycheck to paycheck, and how you can avoid ending up trapped by the very success you're chasing. Because being rich means nothing if you're not free. So what exactly are the golden handcuffs? It's this term that actually started on Wall Street back in the day, where companies would offer massive bonuses, stock options, or retirement packages, but only if you stayed with them for a certain number of years. You leave early, you lose it all. It was a way to make sure that their best employees never walked out the door. And on paper, it sounds great. We'll give you more money if you just stay loyal. But here's the catch. The more money they gave you, the harder it became to leave. That's the handcuffs. They're golden because they look amazing, but they're still handcuffs because they keep you exactly where you are. And here's where it gets interesting. You don't need to work on Wall Street to wear them. Today, we've all created our own version of the golden handcuffs. They just look different. They're not stock options or pensions anymore. They're your lifestyle. It's a downtown apartment you can barely afford but can't imagine leaving. It's the $80 dinners that have become your normal. It's the car lease, the subscriptions, the wardrobe you maintain just to keep up with an image of success. You wake up one day and realize you're not working for money, you're working to sustain your lifestyle. You start measuring your success not by how much freedom you have, but by how expensive your life looks. Let me give you an example. I personally know of people in investment banking facing this exact situation. Their bosses are bullies, they live in fear of making mistakes, and they frequently cancel on plans at the last minute because their schedules depend on their boss's whims. These guys can't go to the gym without repeatedly checking their phone, and they can't sit through a movie without worrying about missing an email. It's this perpetual state of fight or flight. Even though the cons kept adding up, they don't leave the job. They live in luxury apartments in New York City, where the rent takes up almost 50% of their income. They spend extravagantly eating at Michelin-star restaurants and taking Ubers wherever possible. The light at the end of the tunnel every year in this toxic workplace is the eye-watering annual bonus, all for it to repeat the next year again. And here's the irony. The tighter those handcuffs get, the harder it becomes to notice them. Because society keeps telling you that this is what making it looks like. Nobody asks how much peace you have or how close you are to burnout. So now that we understand what the golden handcuffs are, let's talk about why they're so effective. Why even high earners, people who should be living comfortably, end up broke, stressed, and dependent. It usually comes down to three things. Three invisible forces that quietly eat away at your wealth and freedom. First, it's lifestyle inflation. You've probably heard this before. It's when your income goes up, your expenses go up with it. But lifestyle inflation isn't just about spending more, It's about normalizing more. Here's how it happens. You get your first job, maybe you're making 60K, you live with roommates, cook at home, take the subway, then you get a raise. Suddenly, Ubers feel easier than the train. You move into a one bedroom and you start eating out more because, well, you can. What used to feel like luxury now feels like a necessity. Psychologists call this hedonic adaptation, our ability to quickly adjust to new comforts until they stop feeling special. And the worst part, you don't even realize it's happening. You convince yourself you're rewarding your hard work, but soon that $5 coffee and $3,000 rent aren't just rewards, they're just life. What was once a luxury becomes a new baseline, and suddenly anything below that feels like deprivation. It's emotional inflation in which you keep upgrading your life to chase the same feeling of satisfaction. A 2025 Goldman Sachs report actually found that 40% of Americans earning over $500,000 live paycheck to paycheck. That's not a budgeting issue. That's lifestyle inflation in real time. Now, this next one's a sneaky one, and it's a real reason why so many people can't scale down. Identity debt. Here's what it means. It's when your identity becomes tied to your income, your job title, and the lifestyle that proves it. You're not John, you're not Alex or Michelle or Jennifer. You become a vice president at Morgan Stanley or a senior software engineer at Google. You start thinking, I can't live in an apartment smaller. What will people think? Or if I quit my job, I lose my status. At some point, your lifestyle stops being about you and starts being about how you want to be seen. You buy the nicer car not because you need it, but because it reflects the version of yourself that you built. You keep your job not because it fulfills you, but because it validates you. The irony is, the more successful you become, the deeper the fear of losing it gets. Your ego gets expensive to maintain, and this is called loss aversion, a concept from behavioral economics in which we feel the pain of losing something about twice as strongly as the pleasure of gaining it. So giving up the things that make us look successful feels unbearable, even if it's the right choice. So you keep paying for it literally and emotionally. Finally, let's talk about comfort, the deadliest trap of all. See, once you start earning well, the risk-reward equation flips. You don't need to take risks anymore. You have a stable job, the steady paycheck, nice benefits. Why mess that up? But here's the problem. Comfort slowly kills growth. You tell yourself, I'll leave once I've saved enough, but enough never comes because every time you earn more, your lifestyle adjusts. You get addicted to the stability. It's like a golden cage, beautiful, shiny, and impossible to leave because it's just comfortable enough to make staying feel logical. I've met people who hate their jobs but stay because they can't afford to leave. They're not trapped by the company, they're trapped by their own expenses. People frequently recite how the goal is not to be rich, the goal is to be free. And that's the paradox. The paycheck that was supposed to give you freedom ends up being the thing that takes it away. So to recap, you first start earning more, then you inflate your lifestyle, and eventually your identity becomes tied to your income, and the heightened level of comfort keeps you from changing and cements the trap. And that's how high earners, the people who quote unquote made it, end up just as financially anxious as everyone else. It's not that they lack money, it's that they've built lives that depend on keeping the machine running. The golden handcuffs aren't forced onto you, they're self-imposed, link by link, after each payment that you make, until you realize that you're just selling your freedom in return. Here's the thing, the goal isn't to live like a monk. It's not about throwing everything away, everything you've worked so hard for, selling your stuff and moving to a cabin in the woods. It's about reclaiming control, so that your money starts serving you, not the other way around. Breaking free from the golden handcuffs doesn't mean quitting your job tomorrow. It means shifting why you do what you do. So let's break this down into 3 practical actions you can take going forward. Firstly, it's shifting your focus from income to autonomy. Most people chase income. That number on their paycheck becomes the scoreboard. But the real measure of wealth isn't how much you earn, it's how much control you have over your time and decisions. If you're making $500,000 a year, but can't take a week off without asking for permission? Are you really free? That's the first mindset shift. To stop equating success with money and start equating it with autonomy. The second thing is rewiring how you define status. Instead of trying to impress people with what you own, start expressing who you are through what you do. Because real confidence doesn't come from buying things, it comes from being okay when you don't buy them. Like, the guy with the flashy car might get some glances, but the person who quietly lives below their means, invests consistently, and has peace of mind, he's the one that is richer. Finally, it's having an exit strategy. Not because you'll necessarily walk away, but because knowing that you can walk away changes everything. You have to make sure your burn rate is less than your income, because when you have savings, side income, or investments growing quietly in the background, you stop being scared. You stop accepting toxicity. You stop negotiating your dignity for a paycheck, and it can shift your entire mindset from I have to I choose to. Now, I'll be honest. I'm heading into investment banking soon, and this whole golden handcuffs thing, I know I'll be living it firsthand. Because banking is built on that cycle. You start young, grind through 80-hour weeks, and tell yourself that it's temporary, just a few years. Then the bonuses hit, the lifestyle upgrades come, and then suddenly the idea of leaving feels impossible. This past summer, I made just under $10,000 a month as an intern in investment banking. Now, that might sound amazing, making $10,000 a month as a 21-year-old, but I also worked 86 hours a week on average. I worked day and night, every weekend, and every bank holiday. That's no freedom. So this video isn't me preaching from the outside, it's me calling my own bluff. I know that if I'm not careful, I'll wake up in 5 years from now making more money than I ever imagined and feeling poorer than I did in college. That's why I'm documenting this. Not as a lecture, but as a reminder to stay intentional, to invest early, and to remember that success isn't a paycheck, it's peace.